Now we are going to start with the solubility, right? So what do you mean by solubility? See, as far as the solubility is concerned, we know that like dissolves like, right? So I am just going to write here, like dissolves like. What do I mean by this saying, that like dissolves like? It means that polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents, and likewise non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. See, I will give you an example. See, if I have water in one container, so let us take two containers, okay? We have two containers in which I have water, one beaker contain water and in another I have benzene. Right. Now what I am going to do, I am going to add solute in this case, right. So what happens, I add sugar to it. I add sugar to it and I stir it. Then what you found after a few minutes, what you see, that sugar start dissolving in it, right. So that means sugar gets dissolved in water. Likewise, I add salt into it. Again, we get to have salt solution because the salt start dissolving in it. So that means sugar is soluble in water, salt is soluble in water. But when I add this sugar into this benzene solution or this salt into benzene, they are not soluble. They are actually not soluble. So let us take few more example. Suppose I have anthracene, right. So when I dissolve anthracene in water, it doesn't get dissolved. But when I dissolve anthracene in benzene, it gets dissolved. So that means the nature of solute and solvent should be similar. If we want that the solute should be soluble in it, the nature should be similar. That is why we say that as we know sugar and salt are polar in nature. So that is why they are soluble in the polar solvent, that is water, right. And as we know the anthracene or something else, if we take like naphthalene or all, they are non-polar solutes. So that means they will be soluble in non-polar solvents, right. So that means like dissolves like. So this is a very important line. You have to this thing that you have to keep in mind, that the polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents and non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents, or we can say like dissolves like. See, now what happens when we dissolve any solute into solvent? So there are many factors which actually affect. That means if we are dissolving solute in solvent, there are many factors that are affecting the solubility of solute. And that factors, like sometimes what can you do, that you can just heat it and can increase the solubility. Sometimes you can apply the pressure and you can increase the solubility. Sometimes you can stir and then you can increase the solubility. So that means there are many factors which affect the solubility, right. So now we are in a position to define the solubility, that what actually is the solubility. Right. So what is solubility? It is the maximum amount of solute dissolved in given amount of solvent. It is the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in given amount of solvent, that is called as solubility. I just write in your copies that solubility is the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in given amount of solvent, that is something called as solubility. Now as I told you that there are many factors that affect the solubility, so let us sum them up, right. So what are those factors? Factors that influence solubility are nature of solute, nature of solvent, we have condition of temperature and pressure. They have very important effect, right. Condition of temperature and pressure, and likewise we have structure also. So these are the factors which influence the solubility. That means sometimes they increase the solubility or sometimes they decrease the solubility. So let us see that how they are going to affect. See, as far as nature of solute and solvent is concerned, I told you that like dissolves like. We already took an example above, that the polar solute is soluble in polar solvent and non-polar solute is soluble in non-polar solvent. We don't get a case like that in which the non-polar solute is soluble in polar solvent. It cannot happen, right. Always the like dissolves like. That means polar solute, polar solvent, non-polar solute, non-polar solvent. So this is what. Next we have is the condition of temperature and pressure. See, I am just going to explain you with temperature. What happens? Suppose I have a container in which I have water. Right, I have poured few sugar crystals into it. I have poured added few sugar crystals into it. So let us take the crystals as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crystals, right. So what happens, we know that water has the ability to dissolve some solute in it. So what we get to see that after some time few crystals gets dissolved. So let us say that this thing 2 crystals are already dissolved because the solvent has the ability to dissolve, right, and we are left with these 4 crystals. That means now what we do, we heat it, we just heat it. Then what happens, we know that on increasing the temperature the solubility increase. So we get to see that the you can say more number of solute now gets dissolved. So let's see that these are dissolved, we are left with these 2 now, right. So further if you will increase the temperature, then also they will get dissolved. So on the whole what we can conclude that on increasing the temperature, definitely the solubility of solute increase. But in certain cases, like when we have gas and liquid, the solubility decreases. So that like in general what we are talking is that when we are adding sugar to water or when we are adding salt to water, so when you will heat it, the solubility power is going to increase. That means it will be more soluble. But exceptions we can see depending upon the nature of the solutes, right. So in general if somebody is going to ask you about the temperature, so just tell them in a manner that yes, the temperature is going to increase the solubility, but still we will come across certain solutes in where the solubility just decrease with increase in temperature, right. So the next factor is the pressure. Now pressure, as you will increase the pressure, solubility increase. See how? Suppose I have a container again, I have a solvent here, let us take water, right. I have the solute here, so let's see, I will just make it with a different pen. Let's assume that this blue one is my solute and here I have a piston. So as you can see that solute particles are above the solvent, they are not dissolved in it, they are above the solvent. So what happens when you increase the pressure, that means when we just move this piston down, that means we are increasing the pressure, then what we get to see? We get to see that they gets dissolved. Let us make here. So let us say that piston moves down, and when the piston moves down, these particles are now here. So that means, like you can see that in the first case the water is still here and this is our solute, it is not soluble in that. But when you are applying the pressure, when you are moving the piston down, it is making these solute particles dissolved in the solvent. So that means on increasing the pressure, the solubility can increase. Right. So these are the factors which affect the solubility, that the factors are nature of solute or solvent, and as I told you that like dissolves like, you already know that, and the condition of temperature is very important, the condition of pressure is very important. So these are the factors which actually influence the solubility, right. Now we are going to take up different solutions, right. So let us take different solutions. We are going to check the solubility, okay. So we are taking different solutions in which our solvent is taken as liquid. Our solvent we are considering is liquid. Like in all cases, the solvent which we are going to use will be liquid, right. So let us take three you can say types in which there is a solid solute dissolved in liquid solvent. Another is liquid solute dissolved in liquid solvent. Third is gas solute dissolved in liquid. In 3 of the cases, liquid is going to act as solvent. So that means all are liquid solutions. The difference lies in the nature of the solute. Like in first case, it is a solid solute. In the second case, it is liquid solute, and in the third case, it is gas solute. But when we talk about its nature, we say that they are liquid solutions because we know that the name that is assigned to the solution depends upon the state of the solvent, because solvent is the one which is going to decide the state, right? So likewise we have 3 solutions now, that is in one the solid is dissolved in liquid, another liquid in liquid, and third is the gas in liquid, right. So let us check their solubility. So first I am considering, so let us see the solubility of solid in liquid solution. Let us see the solubility of solid in liquid solution. what we see when we dissolve solid in liquid, so what we get to see that some solids are more soluble and some solids are less soluble. That means we find variety of range, that some solids are more soluble in the solvent and some solids are less soluble in the water. So what happens in general, what we talk when we add solute, when we add solid to water, what we see actually. Suppose I have water here as my solvent, I am going to add solute in it. So what happens when I add solute, the water or I can say the solvent has the ability to dissolve some amount of solute in it, right. So what happens, the solute gets dissolved, not fully, we say that some of the solute particles get dissolved as the solvent has the ability to dissolve, right. So that means solvent dissolves some of the solute in it. So when it dissolves the solute in it, that means the concentration of solute is going to rise in the solution. That means the concentration of solute is going to rise in the solution. Then what happens, with the passage of time, these solute, let us make solute particles here. So let us see that these solute particles are dissolved in the solvent and they are increasing the concentration of the solution. That means their concentration of solute is being increased in the water, right. So what happens now, when they are in a dissolved state, so what happens, they collide among themselves. They collide among themselves, and when they collide among themselves, they are precipitated in the form of crystals. We say the process is crystallization. Again, I am going to repeat this, just listen to me carefully. See, when we add solid into liquid, different solids have different ability to get dissolved, right. So suppose I am adding some solute into water. So what happens when I add solute into water, solvent has the ability to dissolve some amount of solute in it, right. So it is dissolving that solute, right. Then what happens, and this as a result what we see that the concentration of solute increases. Concentration of solute increases. This process is something called as dissolution. This process is called as dissolution. So what is dissolution? That means it is a process in which we are dissolving solute in solvent and the concentration of solute is rising because it is soluble in the solvent, or you can say that the solvent has the ability to dissolve solute. So that result in the increase in the concentration of solute. So this is what we are going to, we see that the dissolution is taking place. So as a result of dissolution, what we see that the concentration of solute is increasing. So what happens, these solute particles which get dissolved, they come across each other, they collide with each other and they just are precipitated out in the form of crystals. So that means dissolution process is also taking place and it is in equilibrium with the crystallization process. So there exists an equilibrium actually, that the dissolution is also taking place, and as the number of solute particles are increasing, they are colliding among themselves and they are just making the crystals again, right. So this process goes on. That means we get to see an equilibrium between the dissolution and the crystallization. Now we have we divide the type of solutions depending upon their power to dissolve solute. We divide the solution into two types depending upon the power to dissolve the solute. So we have two types of solutions in that. One is saturated solution, other is unsaturated solution. One is saturated solution, other is unsaturated. Now what do we mean by saturated and unsaturated? Suppose I have a container again in which I have water, or we may take some other liquid also, right. So what I am doing, I am adding a solute here, and this dissolution is occurring at constant temperature. This dissolution is occurring at constant temperature. That means I am adding solute, there is a fixed temperature, I am adding solute into the liquid. What happens, water has the ability to dissolve, so it is dissolving. So when it is dissolving, you can say that the dissolution is taking place. The dissolution is taking place. So what we get to see that after some time it is unable to dissolve more solute. Like suppose I add 1 spoon of let us take salt, right. If I add 1 spoon of salt, it is dissolving, right. I add 1 more, it gets dissolved. I add 2 more, it gets dissolved. So at the stage comes when I add more spoon of salt, it is not dissolving in it. That means it cannot dissolve as much as solute at the given condition of temperature, right. So whenever the solvent or the solution, you can say, fail to dissolve more solute into it at the given condition of temperature or pressure, it is said to be saturated, right. So saturated one is that in which no more solute can be dissolved at given condition of temperature or pressure. That means at the given temperature conditions, no more, it doesn't have the ability to dissolve more solute. So that is called as saturated solution. Now what is unsaturated one? It is just the opposite to the saturated one. That means, suppose again I am telling you, suppose I am taking a water, I am adding a salt to it, I am stirring it, so it is just getting dissolved. I add few more spoons, it gets dissolved. I add more spoons, it gets dissolved. So that means a solution which has the ability to dissolve as much as solute it can, right? So it is called as unsaturated. And you have to keep in mind this process, in both the cases they are occurring at the constant temperature and pressure. That means we are not changing the condition of temperature and pressure, right? So what is unsaturated? Unsaturated one is that which can dissolve as much as solute we add at given condition of, again, temperature and pressure, right? So I will just repeat again. See, whenever we add any solute into water, so what happens when we add solute into water, the water has the ability to dissolve, right? So that means concentration of solute is increasing with time. We say that the dissolution is taking place. But as the concentration gets increased, they collide among themselves and they just precipitate it out in the form of crystals. So we get to see that there is a dissolution occurring in equilibrium with the crystallization. Now, depending upon that, we have two kinds of solutions, saturated and unsaturated. Saturated one is that which cannot dissolve as much as solute we add into it at the given condition, right? But obviously when we increase the condition of temperature, they are capable of dissolving, right? But as we talk about at normal condition, they are not able to dissolve more solute. And the unsaturated one is that which can dissolve as much as solute we add into it. So that is something called as unsaturated. Now we are going to see that what is the effect of temperature and pressure when we dissolve these kind of solid solute into liquid. So what happens, what is the effect of temperature? Do they get affected on increasing or decreasing the temperature or not? So what happens, see, if we are dissolving solute in water, right, suppose I am dissolving solute in water and I say that the dissolution is endothermic, that means it needs energy from outside, right. So it means if dissolution is endothermic, endothermic means it needs energy, it needs heat from outside, it needs temperature from outside. So that means when we will increase the temperature, obviously solubility is going to increase, obviously, right, because when the dissolution needs energy, so when you supply that energy, so obviously the amount of solute getting dissolved in solvent is going to increase, so that means the solubility is going to increase. But if in case we have dissolution process is exothermic, that means it releases energy, then at that time if you will increase the temperature, solubility will decrease. So again I will tell you, see, the dissolution process can you can say that dissolution occur on absorbing the energy or it can also release the energy. So that means the dissolution process can be endothermic or can be exothermic depending upon the nature of solid which we are adding into it. So if dissolution process is endothermic, so that means when we will increase the temperature, obviously solubility is going to increase. So we say that in this case solubility is directly proportional to temperature. But if the dissolution process is exothermic, so that means it is releasing energy, and when you are adding energy into it, so that means it is not going to increase the solubility, in fact it is going to decrease the solubility. So we say that in case of exothermic, this solubility is inversely proportional to temperature. Right. So these you can say variation is according to Lee-Chartley principle, because we know that when you just increase the stress on one side, the reaction is going to, or equilibrium is just going to shift in the opposite side. So these two phenomena are in accordance to Lee-Chartley principle. So this is what is the effect of temperature on the solubility of solid in liquid. Now if we talk about pressure, that means what is the pressure effect, that do pressure increase the solubility of solid in liquid, or does it make the solubility less? So I have to make this clear that as you know that we are talking about the solids, and you know that in solids particles are very closely packed, they are almost incompressible. So what happens when you increase the pressure, there is you can say a zero effect which we get to see on solid, because we cannot compress it, right. So that means on increasing the pressure, solubility remains unaffected. solubility remains unaffected. The reason being because the solid, we are talking about solids, right? But when I talk about the liquid in liquid or gas in liquid, they are going to get affected. Their solubility is going to get affected. But it is not getting affected when we are dissolving solid, because solids, the particles are very closely packed, and when they are very closely packed, there are no spaces between them, and when there is no space, we know that we cannot compress the substance, right? So that means the pressure is going to show a nil effect. So this is what we did, the solubility of solid in liquid solution. Now we will see that the solubility of gas in liquid solvent, that means when we are dissolving gas solute in liquid solvent. So what are the factors